Imperial Guard fans as well as McFarlane action figure enjoyers, welcome on in. This is Spruce and Studs, and I'll have to admit to you, sometimes it's actually nice not to review a Joy Toy action figure just because you want to see exactly what another action figure maker has to offer versus the other one. You know, as they say, variety is the spice of life. So in this one, we are going to be taking a look at the Kasrkin. And of course, as usual, we will be looking at this particular elite figure in excruciating detail. So let's jump on in. We will start off this review as usual by looking at the helmet area first. So this elite Cadian is wearing an environmentally sealed helmet that is clearly dominated by this forest green color with some silver elements such as this silver winged skull, and the respirator ends right here break up this vast green expanse. I would have hoped that the lenses on this helmet would be a different color, such as a metallic red or yellow, to call attention to it to add more spice. Aside from that, the only other piece of flavor is this red lens for the flashlight. So the right shoulder is dominated by a symbol, but what gets me is the texture that McFarlane excels at in the figures that are produced. There is strong and prominent battle damage in the form of these dents as well as scratches all over the place. Then in the beige portion in the fatigues, this cloth area is highly texturized with cross hatchings and folds. I will touch on this, as I have said before in all of my McFarlane reviews, in that if this company decides to shade their figures, they would look insanely good. Anyway, this area also 100% matches this Veteran Guardsman cloth area too. I just can't stop raving about the textural sensation that I am experiencing by looking at the fabric. So the left arm is pretty much the same, except it has a 005 that is screened on the shoulder pad area. It's interesting that this area has more character and flavor than your average McFarlane Space Marine right here. Your classic Space Marine chest is usually dominated by this monochrome winged skull here. By direct comparison, this chest, however, has a spicy double aquila, some patterning on this camouflage, and a large metallic red light located in the right chest area. The armor has a good amount of texture to it, with the main chest area having perhaps some ceramite armor plates that are protruding out, and there's some terracing down to this waist area. Now, speaking of the waist area, it is dominated by this black belt that has these corrugated lines that run around the plastic. There is a brilliant silver skull buckle that contrasts deeply against the dark backdrop. Aside from that, the belt has two highly detailed frag grenades that are hanging down from it. On the left side are two very shiny pouches. However, unlike most Joy Toy pouches, these have a ton of character that are given by the way of some wrinkles and creases to the leather-like material. The rest of the waist area is dominated by this soft plastic material that is made to represent a top coat type of look. And this type of look is also seen in the Trader Guard too, but the Trader Guard one is more highly texturized. There are also 4 armor plates that are hanging down on this action figure's side. With regards to the legs and the lower area, I have said this before and I'll say it again, a lot of these McFarlane figures are bursting with gushing flavor, especially in this leg area. I say this because there is a large concentration of texture in the area that's on top of the boots right here. You can see the fabric realistically bunched together on the top of the boot, which really impresses me. This black area on the armor looks corrugated and I believe is to mimic leather, and I think it does a fantastic job of doing that. There are also more armor plates with studs and more camo that are painted on. With the boots, I do love the stitching of the laces, which adds a touch of realism to this action figure. The cloth being bunched up and the construction of the boots are also seen in the Veteran Guardsman in the middle, and then as well as the Trader Guard on my right hand side. With regards to the backpack, there's nothing too exciting to see here. However, there's at least a two-toned look, with most of the backpack being green, and there's this silver aquila here, as well as an antenna to add more character to this green expanse. I really wonder if this silver area at the bottom of the backpack are the charge packs that normally power a hotshot lad's gun, or in this case, the plasma gun. Oh, also, as a side note, this backpack is not removable. I tried removing this area and actually ended up tearing the plastic right here that holds the backpack to the figure. What do we see? There are actually 3 different colors on this plasma gun. This almost feels like a first, even though I know it is not. What I find surprising is that McFarlane is actually using a blue glow for the plasma coils, which is awesome. This really reflects the realism that is seen in plasma weapons, such as in Space Marine 2. Although this is not the first time McFarlane has used the metallic blue glow, because it was first seen in this Space Wolf Space Marine axe right here. Also, I kind of find it strange that this plasma gun isn't hooked up to the charge packs by the way of hoses. So we're going to take a look at the evolution of these plasma weapons that McFarlane has been pumping out. So comparing the pistols of the past, the worst one is this monochrome gray one. Then there's a step up with this black and flat blue pistol, then culminating with this delicious piece of advanced weaponry right here. I do have a small critique in that the black area is a bit too formless and could have used a little bit more silver to break up this black area. Now, the last thing that this action figure comes with is this data card right here, with a blurb explaining who and what the Kasrkin are. For a limited amount of space, I believe that the short explanation does a good job of summarizing the aesthetic and ethos of the Kasrkin. And so the review is done. Now it's finally time to determine if this one is worth buying. So what do I think about this action figure? And I'll be honest with you, at the price of $30, I think this action figure is well worth the value. I believe that McFarlane did a fantastic job of translating the Kasrkin miniature over to this very large scale 7-inch figure form. Now, is it a perfect action figure? I don't believe that actually exists, but at the price point of $30, I'm gonna say it's probably the best that you can get at that price point. There have been quite a few improvements on this action figure, especially with the metallic looking plasma coils. I really like the effect of it and really stands out compared to the other plasma guns or plasma pistols that we looked at. And I also, again, do like the texturization that McFarlane puts in his action figures. I think they're absolutely fantastic, especially with the cloth bits that you find all over the fatigues of this action figure. Now, there are some little gripes that I have. The hands are a bit stiff, and I think that you need to put them in the hot water to open them up, just because I had a fairly hard time with getting the plasma gun inside of this Kasrkin's hands. And then without the base, I don't believe that there's enough surface area on the boots to actually make this thing stand properly, or it does stand, however it is very unstable. So closing out, members of the chapter, thank you so much for watching. Once again, I do appreciate every single one of you who leave a comment, as well as hit that like button, as well as just view these action figure reviews. Without you, I definitely would not be here, and this channel would not be doing as well with all of your help. So I thank you all, and I will see you in the next one.